A very good morning, students. Students, we very often are been for have the pressure of studies. You have to get good marks, good percentage, and nowadays it's become a fashion, it's become a trend that we have to be an all-rounder, good at cultural activities, good at sports, good in every aspect. It's very difficult for a human, right? Especially you youngsters, because you have your own perspective, your own point of view to think what you want to be. But your parents have a pressure, no, you have to be a doctor, no, you have to be an engineer only, or you have to be an army officer. They have their own perspective to push over you. Maybe your point of view and theirs is the same, but the way of approach, or you can say that the way they look up to you may be different. Students, today we are going to discuss on a lesson, A Question of Space by Neera Kashyap. So, what does Neera Kashyap say in her lesson, A Question of Space? Let's check. Neera Kashyap. She has worked as a newspaper journalist, specializing in environment journalism, social, health, communication, and research. So she is a newspaper, as in you all know newspaper. You very nowadays it's what you get everything news on the Google app, or you have highlights coming on your mobiles. But like you can say some few years down the line, we can say some few years back the line, if you remember that we used to use newspapers, and even the school used to have newspaper reading, and wherein you used to read, you used to have lot of news called as state news, city news, international, national, where you used to read the headlines to know what's happening in the city and in and around the world. And her specialization is in environmental journalism, social and health, communication and research. She has authored a small book of short stories for young adults, Daring to Dream, Rupa, and contribution for four anthologies from Children's Books Trust. Her essays have interpreted scriptures and ancient literature for print journals such as Mountain Path, and Life Positive. So, if you see her profile, she is a kind of person like who has covered of every age and of every aspect. She has seen theological, she has seen practical, she has seen theory. Theological, I mean to say, she has seen spiritually. She has worked on spiritual like researches and where she has written. So, this lesson let us concentrate where she's speaking about when we self observe ourselves. There's a self improvement. Sometimes we say everything I have done right in the paper or everything I did right in the competition, yet I lagged behind. Why? Lord, sometimes, why with me only? Why I don't have friends? Or why I'm not able to cope up with my studies? Why it is? So we have a lot of whys. But one answer question, have we self observed? Have we questioned self examination? What is wrong with us, or what has been wrong that has made us taste failure, or which has not tasted or made us taste the taste of success? We have climbed the ladder, but then we are not able to reach on the throne. Let's see through this lesson what's the reason. This lesson demonstrates how to self observation leads to self improvement and change in attitude. Students, you might have heard about many people, especially the new athletes who are coming up from very backward villages from Odisha, Assam, and even if you look up to Dangal girls, okay, Geeta, Babita, Phogad, what have they done? They also have come to tough situations. But then, today, they stand up with high glory. If you go to Gita Pawad and Babita Pawad, it is Pogad. What have we done there? What have they done? If you see their biography, they were not interested in wrestling. They were forced into it. Later, they encountered themselves. They encountered that they are quite efficient. They have the potential in them to be good wrestlers. For wrestling, they had that in them. They had the potential, only they had to encounter themselves. Initially, it was by force, by their parents, by their father, but later on, it was their will and wish. The same way, our lesson 2 carries the same message. The lessons is all around about Vikrant, a boy who is in 11th standard, who is a 16-year-old boy, revolves around him and his friend Anuj, who is of his only age. You can say he's a bit more older than him, but has a different perspective towards life. Let's see what happens in the lesson. This is this is Vikrant with, you can see on his head, music, computers, then playing games, athletics, and his academics. You can see all these things on his head. Suppose if your parents or if I have to put all this on your head, you people will say, oh, please, excuse me, right? Well, let's see what is Vikrant all about to say. Despite of maintaining a constant rhythm, Vikrant found himself completely out of breath at the end of 3.2 kilometers jog. He had bound with the effort and with thoughts of the pressure his parents were mounting on him to gear up for the medical entrance test. Still a year and a half away, both successful doctors themselves. So here we are getting a picture that Vikrant's parents are both are doctors, successful doctors, just not doctors, successful doctors. There's a lot of difference. You be a engineer and be a successful engineer. Makes a lot of difference. So here we can make out that Vikrant is coming from a very well-to-do family, very cozy, where everything is on a ready-made platter for him. Excuse me. It is only that he has to study for his entrance exam. Vikram is in 11th standard. Next year is his 12th standard. It's the same position like your children. You people are in 9th. Next year is your 10th. And your parents might be pressurizing you as well, telling, next year is your board exam. Start studying now itself. You will get a gear on it. You will get a hold on it to how to prepare for the next year. Isn't it? So you people are like going on, and your parents are like just right behind you all. Gear up with your studies, because you have to perform the best so that you get good admission in good colleges. That is the same thing what's happening with Vikrant over here. As we see, he has started with his 11th class and his mom and dad are constantly harping on him, saying like you have to get a good grip on science and maths for being his foundation year for class 12. So here they are emphasizing, they are pressuring him, they're putting a pressure on him that you have to work good on maths, science, physics, chemistry and bio, because these are the main subjects where he has to really gear up, because this is going to be for his medical entrance. They want him also to be a doctor, because doctor is a very noble profession which is looked up with high respect and high expectation. So they want him also to be there. Vikrant is literally like, he's pressurized. He just does not know what to do. He is like, he's so fed up because he's only going on with tuitions. He's going on with his studies. Here you can see like, here they have said like 12th board exams, 12th board and medical entrance. His father squeezed him constantly on maths, physics and biology, till his head spun. The conflicts had occurred a distant edge ever since he had met. So like there was lot of you can say is disagreement between the son and the father. Reason why? Because they were constantly spinning him up, like they're saying like you have to study this, you have to study that, you have to do this, that, only in set of instructions and pressure. They never asked him what he wants to do. Did not give him a vent of thinking to say like what do you want to do, son? Do you want to do something else? No. It was only like what they expect from you. And he expected something else from his parents. And in no time he met Anuj, who had sprung into his life like a new universe right here on the jogging track. Anuj was not just a person with dynamic ideas on photography, on the connectedness between human beings and all over other living species. So here Anuj he met on the jogging track with him, and Anuj was a total different person. For him, you can say Vikrant was in a boring universe, okay, where only books are there, no trees, no plants, only books and studies, mock tests, and exams and exams and then exams. And most important was at the end of the day marks. So for Vikrant only this was his life, marks and books. So he was really bored. Then when he was really, really tired, hardly had jogged for some while, and then he finds himself so tired, and he says, oh no, and this is not me now. And he was just sitting till then he meets another new universe that you can say is Earth, where he found Anuj, where all the varieties of happiness, colorful, joy, he was a brilliant photographer. But that's not only photographer, but then he bought a new you can say a new venture in his life. One on self-employment as a part of human evolution in the cosmos, that he had turned into a friend very quickly as much as older. So here we come to know that Anuj is not of the age of Vikrant, but then he is quite elder to Vikrant. And then he borrowed some books, okay, from Anuj, and he read on the Kodak camera. Vikrant knew his parents had watched his new interest growing dismay. His class grades had dropped. So here Vikrant, what happened is his parents started observing Vikrant, that if you read here in this paragraph, his parents had watched his new interest growing dismay. His class grades had dropped. He had started skipping group tuitions, even the extra classes designed for a weekends, and only child. A tension grew between Vikrant and his parents, so did his identity with Anuj. So here his parents started thinking that will he turn up to be a doctor, or what he's going to end up himself with. His friendship was growing with Anuj very deeply. He was trying to discover new things within himself. He was trying to discover himself, because he was only into a planet where there was only books and marks and tests and grades. But then he discovered a new person who showed him that it's only not marks and grades and exams, but there's something more into our lives. So then what happened? He started growing his interest. He started liking photography. At the same time, his parents were really scared. What will happen? Painting, Vikram flopped into a concrete bench just beyond which Anuj was skirting on the metal swing bars grouted on the earth. So here these people started spending he started spending his time. He started missing his classes, his tuitions, and only started spending time with Anuj, because he liked his company, because he did not pressurize him or force him to do something. He just loved to be there because he was exploring himself. He was trying to know what are his interests. Then Vikrant tried to Anuj tried to ask Vikrant why was he so upset, what was the pressure on him. Vikrant tried to shrug but nodded instead. It seems to be that the pressure is worse on children of doctors, perhaps because medicine is considered the noblest of profession and gives prestige. But tell me how you react to pressure. Oh, I explain, I urge, I snap. Sometimes I even talk of worse when I lose control. So here Anuj is asking, what do you do when you get angry? And he said he throws a box, he gets angry, he does not eat food, he just walks out, and all those things. Then he started telling him that it is very important to know how to control ourselves, how to observe ourselves. Vikrant thoughtfully, it will help you witness your reactions if you are happening to someone else. So he said, start telling him, start observing your body. He said, observe your reactions, observe how you feel when you start getting angry. Then it happened so eventually that he went, they were again on the dining table, the father, son, and the mother. And then when again the father started speaking about the we can say about his education, what is he planning and all, then automatically his tongue started getting dried, his temples started getting tightened, his body started getting heavier and getting a hunch over, and then he was really very like it started getting gripper and gripper in him. And then what happened, he just left the table and went. And then his father started questioning him like, no, tuitions, are you looking up for tuitions for the 12th standard, for medical entrance, and for the 12th board exam? Tuitions for medical entrance is just not tuitions, he said. They'll coach you career for high competitive exams. So he's saying one wrong answer can take you anywhere. But then he had his own perspective, he had his own self-observation, and he felt that it is just a pressure. Vikrant's father thought that he's spending time with irrelevant things and wrong people. So like he felt he's a junk. He felt Anuj is a junk who is just bulldozing him with wrong things. Whereas Vikrant felt his father is bulldozing with wrong thing, with lot of pressure, and he is not allowing him to know. And then what happens is, as the days go by, at last what he does is he tries to encounter himself, Vikrant, with the total hopelessness, with the emotions he did not feel. Even attempting not to express feeling, he could see things more objectively. So what he did is, what he feels, he did not show it to, he did not express it out, but kept it for himself and tried to overcome it. He tried to balance himself. He tried to give time for himself for photography. Then he tried, like he did his self-observe. Vikrant kept up his exercise to self-observe, practicing emotions. He did not feel, even attempting to express his feelings that came up hot and strong. He felt small strings of change. He could see more objectively even when he could control his reactions. His parents were pushing less, listening more. He noticed that instead of both of them speaking in one voice at points of control or friction, one spoke while the other refrained. This was leading to much more interaction expect on subjects. So here what happened is, here Anuj started listening to their parents more than answering them or expecting them to listen to him. The same way in written, what happened is the parents also started giving him time, and they started giving him time and to expect what he wanted. So they started listening to him and they started giving his space. So at the end, what happened is, Vikrant passed through good grades in the exam and even found out a good coaching for himself for the 12th standard. So this is how Vikrant could clear his 12th and clear his entrance for medicals, and he also became a well-known and a successful doctor. Students, in this Vikrant's lesson, it is very much related to us. Students, our parents and our point of view is the same. It is time, if our parents are not listening to us, it's our call to say, okay, you speak, I will listen. There surely will be there'll be days when our parents will listen and we will speak. So at times when they are speaking, let's us be silent and know that they also expect something from us. Children, I hope you enjoyed this lesson. A space for question. A question for space. And I hope if you have any doubt or any clarification, please feel free to call me or message me. Thank you and have a good day.